The galaxy believed Earth was weak. The Galactic Empire, ruling over hundreds of star systems, saw humanity as nothing more than a primitive species. Their ships were larger, their armies stronger, and their technology centuries ahead. Or so they thought. For years, Earth had remained silent, avoiding conflict. They did not send war fleets into space. They did not conquer new worlds. They simply watched and waited. But deep in the shadows, far beyond the Empire's gaze, Earth had been preparing. A hidden fleet, built in secret, lay waiting on the dark edge of the galaxy, silent, invisible, and deadly. Its existence was unknown to the galaxy. Even the Galactic Empire had no idea that Earth had constructed warships unlike anything seen before. These ships were faster, stronger, and armed with advanced weapons that no alien species had ever encountered. For decades, Earth had studied alien technology. They had learned from the mistakes of fallen civilizations. They had developed weapons designed not for defense, but for absolute victory. And now, the time for silence was ending. A fateful discovery. It started with a single mistake. Acceleron scout ship, a small reconnaissance vessel from the Galactic Empire, was scanning deep space when it picked up something unusual, strange energy readings coming from the galactic edge. These readings did not match any known celestial body or anomaly. It was artificial. It was technology. Curious, the Acceleron pilot moved closer. Their ship was small, designed for stealth, and equipped with long-range sensors. As they approached the source of the energy signature, their screens flickered. Then, for the first time in their life, they saw something that made their hearts freeze. A fleet. Not just a few ships, but hundreds. Massive battleships, sleek destroyers, and agile interceptors, all hidden in the darkness of space. The fleet was stationed near an uncharted system, its massive warships cloaked in stealth fields. The pilot panicked. They had to warn the Empire. If Earth had secretly built such a force, it could change the balance of power in the galaxy. They turned their ship around and prepared to jump into hyperspace. But it was already too late. A single Earth interceptor, smaller than the scout ship but infinitely faster, appeared out of nowhere. The human pilot sent a message. Unidentified Acceleron vessel, you have entered restricted space. Turn back or be destroyed. The Acceleron pilot ignored the warning. They pushed their ship's engines to the limit, attempting to escape. The Earth ship fired once. A precise energy beam struck the scout ship's engines, disabling them instantly. The Acceleron ship tumbled in space, powerless. The human pilot sent another message. You are not leaving. Fear gripped the Acceleron. They had never been in a situation like this. The Empire always controlled every battle, every engagement. But here, on the dark edge of the galaxy, the humans had the upper hand. And now, the Empire would finally learn the truth. The Empire's response. The captured Acceleron scout was taken aboard an Earth battleship. Its pilot was interrogated but treated with unexpected respect. Humans were not monsters. They did not torture their prisoners. But they made one thing clear. The Empire would soon know of Earth's power. Meanwhile, Earth's fleet mobilized. The discovery of their hidden forces meant one thing. War was coming. On the Imperial capital world, the Emperor himself received the Acceleron pilot's report. He listened in silence as his advisors argued. Some dismissed the threat, believing humans to be no match for the mighty Empire. Others, however, were uneasy. If Earth had built a fleet in secret, what else had they been hiding? But arrogance clouded the Emperor's judgment. He stood from his throne, his voice echoing across the chamber. Humans dare to challenge the Galactic Empire. Then we will crush them before they become a real threat. A massive fleet was ordered to move toward Earth's location. The Empire expected an easy victory. They had crushed countless civilizations before. They did not realize they were marching straight into a trap. Earth had waited in the shadows for years. Now, the time for waiting was over. and the galaxy was about to learn why humanity should never be underestimated. The Galactic Empire had ruled the stars for centuries. With countless fleets and advanced technology, they believed no species could challenge their dominance. When the Accelerant Scout reported Earth's hidden fleet, the Empire's leaders laughed. Humans, sneered High Commander Vorthar, a towering alien with crimson skin and piercing yellow eyes. They can't even control their own planet. How can they threaten an empire like ours? The Emperor sat on his golden throne, his sharp claws tapping against the metal armrest. He listened to the reports with mild interest, but dismissed them as overblown fear. Send a fleet, he ordered lazily. Crush them before they start believing they matter. And so, the Empire gathered one of its mid-sized fleets, confident that it would be more than enough to handle a planet like Earth. 50 warships, armed with plasma cannons and energy shields, began their journey to the galactic edge. They had no idea what awaited them. Earth's final message. While the Empire prepared for battle, Earth's leaders gathered in a hidden underground command center deep beneath the surface. The room was quiet, filled with tension. Holographic displays showed the Empire's fleet moving closer, crossing into human territory. President Alina Rodriguez, a calm and determined woman, stood at the center of the room. Her eyes scanned the data before speaking. "They've crossed the line," she said. "It's time." A communication channel was opened. A message was sent directly to the Empire's approaching fleet. It was simple, but powerful. "You have entered sovereign human space. Turn back immediately or face the consequences." The Empire's fleet received the message, but instead of fear, they responded with mockery. Admiral Threx, the alien commander leading the fleet, grinned as he recorded his reply. "Earth's pitiful leaders," he growled, his voice dripping with arrogance. "You have no idea who you're dealing with. Surrender now, and we might spare your planet." The message reached Earth, but there was no fear in the command center, only resolve. President Rodriguez smiled coldly. "They'll learn soon enough." The calm before the storm. As the Empire's fleet approached, Earth's hidden Armada lay in wait, perfectly still in the cold darkness of space. Their ships were invisible to most sensors, cloaked in advanced stealth technology that even the Empire couldn't detect. Captain Marcus Hale, commander of Earth's flagship, the Resolute, watched the enemy fleet on his screen. He was a tall, quiet man with sharp eyes and nerves of steel. His crew trusted him completely. "They're coming in fast," his second-in-command whispered. "They don't see us." Marcus nodded, his voice calm. "Good. Let them come closer." The tension aboard the Resolute was thick. Every crew member knew what was about to happen. This wasn't just a battle. It was a message to the galaxy. For too long, Earth had been underestimated. That was about to change. The first clash. The Empire's fleet entered the sector, their ships shining brightly against the darkness of space. They flew in tight formation, confident that no one could touch them. But then, without warning, the stars around them seemed to shift. Out of the black void, Earth's hidden fleet emerged. Silent, precise, deadly. Before the Empire's ships could react, Earth's fleet opened fire. High-energy beams sliced through the vacuum, striking the Empire's lead ships. The first explosions lit up the dark sky, sending shockwaves through the enemy ranks. Admiral Threx roared in anger, slamming his fist against his control panel. Where did they come from? Return fire. But it was too late. Earth's ships moved like nothing the Empire had ever seen. Their technology was faster, their weapons more accurate. While the Empire's plasma cannons fired wildly into space, Earth's fleet struck with surgical precision. One by one, the Empire's ships were destroyed, their massive hulks drifting lifeless in space. Admiral Threx watched in horror as his fleet was torn apart. This can't be happening. But it was. The mighty Galactic Empire was losing. The aftermath. In less than an hour, the battle was over. Of the Empire's 50 warships, Only 3 managed to escape, limping back toward Imperial space. The rest were nothing more than debris floating in the void. Aboard the Resolute, Captain Marcus Hale stared at the wreckage on his screen. He knew this was only the beginning. "Send a message to Earth," he ordered. "Mission accomplished. But the Empire will be back." Back on Earth, President Rodriguez received the message with a quiet nod. "Let them come," she whispered. This was just the first lesson. And across the galaxy, whispers began to spread. For the first time, the Galactic Empire had been defeated by humans. The age of Earth's silence was over. The galaxy was about to learn the true power of humanity. The news of the Empire's defeat spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Alien species who had once mocked humanity now whispered their names with fear and curiosity. How had a primitive planet like Earth destroyed one of the Empire's fleets so easily? But for the Galactic Empire, defeat was unacceptable. The loss of their warships was not just a military failure, it was an insult. And the Empire never forgave insults. The Emperor was furious. In the grand hall of the Imperial Palace, the walls trembled as his voice echoed through the chambers. "They dared to challenge us," he roared, his sharp claws digging into the arms of his throne. "Humans will pay for their arrogance. I want their planet burned. I want their cities turned to ash." High Commander Vorthar, the Empire's most ruthless general, stepped forward. His crimson skin gleamed under the palace lights. "Give me the command, my Emperor. I will lead the fleet myself. Earth will be nothing but a memory." The Emperor's yellow eyes narrowed. "Go, show them the price of defying the Empire." And with that, the largest fleet the galaxy had ever seen was assembled. This time, the Empire wasn't just sending a force to fight. They were sending a force to annihilate. Earth prepares for war. Back on Earth, the victory was celebrated, but the leaders knew the fight was far from over. In the hidden command center beneath the Earth's surface, President Elena Rodriguez stood before a group of military leaders and scientists. The holographic display showed the Empire's second, much larger fleet moving towards Earth. "They're sending their best this time," said General Carter, a stern man with silver hair and a permanent scowl. "We won the first battle because they underestimated us. They won't make that mistake again." President Rodriguez nodded. "Then we won't give them the chance. It's time to reveal our trump card." The room fell silent. Everyone knew what she meant. Hidden deep within Earth's fleet was a weapon unlike any other. A ship so powerful, it had been kept a secret even from most of Earth's own military. The Eclipse. It wasn't just a warship. It was a symbol, a reminder to the galaxy that humanity had learned from the mistakes of others and had built something even the Galactic Empire would fear. Captain Marcus Hale, now a hero after the first battle, was chosen to command the Eclipse. As he stepped onto the ship's bridge, he felt the weight of Earth's hopes on his shoulders. "Let's show them what Earth is really capable of," he said quietly, his eyes fixed on the stars ahead. First contact with the Empire's flagship. As Earth's fleet prepared, the Empire's massive Armada approached with terrifying speed. At its heart was the Dominion, the largest and most powerful warship in the Empire's history. High Commander Vorthar stood on its bridge, a cruel smile on his face. "We will crush them like insects," he growled. No more games. The two fleets met at the edge of the solar system, far from Earth, but close enough for the planet to feel the tension in the air. For a moment, there was silence. Neither side fired. And then Earth sent a final message. "You are trespassing in human space. Turn back, or you will be destroyed." Vorthar laughed, his voice booming through the Empire's communication channels. "You dare threaten the Galactic Empire. Your planet will burn for your arrogance." Without another word, he gave the order to attack. The bloodiest battle begins. The space around Earth's fleet lit up with energy blasts as the Empire's ships opened fire. But Earth was ready. The Eclipse moved like a phantom through the chaos, its advanced shields deflecting the Empire's strongest weapons. Captain Hale directed his crew with calm precision, every move calculated, every shot deadly. Earth's fleet fought back with a ferocity the Empire had never seen. Their ships, though smaller in number, were faster and more adaptable. They targeted the Empire's weaknesses, striking with precision and retreating before the Empire could respond. But the Empire's numbers were overwhelming. For every Imperial ship destroyed, 2 more took its place. The battle became a brutal clash of firepower and strategy, with both sides suffering heavy losses. In the middle of the chaos, the Eclipse faced off against the Dominion. It was a battle that would be remembered for centuries. High Commander Vorthar sneered as he saw the human ship approaching. "You think that toy can stand against the might of the Empire?" But Captain Hale knew something Vorthar didn't. "We don't need to stand against you," he whispered, activating the Eclipse's most powerful weapon. "We just need to end you." A brilliant beam of energy shot from the Eclipse, piercing through the Dominion's shields and tearing into its core. The massive Imperial flagship shuddered, its systems failing. Vorthar's eyes widened in shock as his ship began to explode around him. This isn't possible. But it was. With one final blast, the Dominion was destroyed, and with it, the heart of the Empire's fleet. The aftermath of First Blood. As the wreckage of the Empire's fleet drifted through space, Earth's ships regrouped. The battle had been costly, but humanity had struck the first major blow against the Galactic Empire. Back on Earth, President Rodriguez received the news with a grim smile. "We've drawn blood," she said quietly, "but this war is far from over." Across the galaxy, the message was clear. Humanity would not be conquered. But the Empire wasn't finished yet. Their pride was shattered, but their hunger for revenge was stronger than ever. And Earth knew the next battle would be even more deadly. The destruction of the Dominion sent shockwaves across the galaxy. For the first time in history, the Galactic Empire had suffered a humiliating defeat, and it wasn't at the hands of an ancient power or a superior alien race. It was by humans. But the Empire wasn't broken. No, they were in rage. In the cold, dark heart of the Empire's capital, the Emperor watched the news of his fleet's destruction in silence. His claws drummed against the arm of his throne, the sound echoing like a drumbeat of impending doom. "Prepare the Annihilation Fleet," he whispered, his voice calm but laced with venom. "I want Earth erased from existence. No survivors. No mercy." The gathering storm. On Earth, the victory celebrations were short-lived. Humanity knew the Empire wouldn't stop. The destruction of the Dominion was a wound to their pride, and the Empire would come back, not just to fight, but to exterminate. In the hidden underground bunker beneath the Andes Mountains, Earth's leaders gathered around a massive holographic display. The screen flickered with images of the new Imperial fleet, bigger, stronger, and more terrifying than anything seen before. General Carter's jaw tightened. "This isn't just a fleet. It's an extermination force. They're not coming to negotiate or even to conquer. They're coming to destroy us." President Rodriguez nodded grimly. "We've shown them our strength. Now we need to show them our resilience." But even as Earth prepared, the question loomed. Could humanity survive the wrath of the Galactic Empire? The Empire strikes. The Imperial fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system, their ships stretching across the void like a dark, metallic wave. At the center of this force was the Empire's new flagship, the Revenant, a vessel even larger and more deadly than the Dominion. High Commander Vorthar had been replaced, his failure unforgivable. In his place stood Admiral Kelzor, a ruthless tactician, known for his cold, calculated approach to war. Where Vorthar had underestimated humanity, Kelzor saw them for what they were, a dangerous, unpredictable enemy. "Do not underestimate them," Kelzor warned his captains, "but do not fear them either. Humanity will be crushed beneath our feet." The Empire's ships moved in, surrounding Earth like a noose tightening around its neck. And then, without warning, the skies above Earth ignited. Earth's last defense. Earth's hidden fleet emerged from its secret bases, ships launching from the Moon, Mars, and even deep space outposts. The Eclipse led the charge, its sleek black hull cutting through the void like a blade. Captain Marcus Hale stood on the bridge, his face set in grim determination. "This is it," he said quietly. "We hold the line here, or humanity falls." The two fleets clashed with a fury that shook the very fabric of space. Laser fire and plasma blasts lit up the darkness, ships exploding in brilliant bursts of light. But the Empire's numbers were overwhelming. No matter how many ships Earth destroyed, more took their place. The human fleet fought with everything they had, but the tide of the battle was turning. On the ground, Earth's cities braced for the worst. Civilians were evacuated to underground bunkers, and soldiers prepared for a last-ditch defense. The skies above were filled with the glow of distant battles, each explosion a reminder of the fight raging just beyond the planet's atmosphere. The fall of the moon base. One by one, Earth's outposts began to fall. The Empire targeted the moon base first, knowing it was a key defensive position. On Luna Station, Commander Elena Voss watched as Imperial ships broke through their defenses. Her team fought bravely, but they were outgunned and outnumbered. "We're not going to make it," her lieutenant whispered. Voss nodded grimly. "Then we take as many of them with us as we can." With a final order, she overloaded the station's core, turning the moon base into a massive explosion that took out a portion of the Imperial fleet. But it wasn't enough. The Empire kept coming. The battle for Earth begins. As Earth's fleet was pushed back, the Empire's ships broke through the final defensive lines and descended toward the planet. Admiral Kelzor stood on the bridge of the Revenant, watching as Earth's blue surface grew larger in the viewport. "Prepare to fire the planetary disruptors," he ordered. "We will reduce this world to ash." But Earth wasn't finished yet. In a last desperate move, Captain Hale ordered the Eclipse to break formation and head straight for the Revenant. It was a suicide mission, but it was the only chance they had. "If we take out their flagship, maybe, just maybe, we can turn this around," he told his crew. As the Eclipse raced toward the heart of the Imperial fleet, Earth's forces followed, rallying behind their most powerful ship. The battle wasn't over. Not yet. A desperate gambit. The Eclipse dodged and weaved through enemy fire, its advanced technology keeping it just out of reach. But the Revenant was waiting. Admiral Kelzor smiled as he saw the human ship approaching. "Let them come. We'll crush their hope right here." But Captain Hale had one final trick up his sleeve. Hidden within the Eclipse was a prototype weapon, something even Earth's allies hadn't known about. It was dangerous, unstable, and untested. But it was their only chance. "Charge the Singularity Cannon," Hale ordered. "This ends now." As the cannon powered up, the Eclipse flew straight into the heart of the Imperial fleet. The Empire's ships closed in, ready to destroy the human vessel once and for all. And then, with a blinding flash of light, the Singularity Cannon fired. The shot tore through space, ripping into the Revenant and collapsing its core in on itself. The shockwave spread outward, consuming everything in its path. The Empire's fleet was thrown into chaos as their flagship was obliterated. For a moment, there was silence. And then, the surviving human ships pressed the attack. The Empire retreats. With the Revenant destroyed, the Empire's fleet began to fall back. Their confidence shattered, their forces broken. The once mighty galactic empire retreated into the depths of space. On Earth, cheers erupted as the news spread. Humanity had survived the Empire's retaliation, but at a great cost. Cities were in ruins, millions were dead, and the planet was scared. But they were alive. Captain Hale, his ship battered and his crew exhausted, looked out at the stars. "We've won this battle," he said quietly, "but the war isn't over." And across the galaxy, the Empire nursed its wounds, preparing for the next strike. The Empire's retreat wasn't a victory, it was a warning. Humanity had survived, but the scars ran deep. Cities lay in ruins, millions had perished, and Earth's fleet was crippled. But humanity wasn't broken. They were angry. The aftermath of war. Captain Marcus Hale stood on the bridge of the Eclipse, staring out at Earth below. The once vibrant blue planet now bore the dark bruises of war, burned cities, shattered landscapes, and smoldering craters from the Empire's failed invasion. In the command bunker beneath the Andes Mountains, Earth's leaders gathered once again. President Rodriguez's face was grim as she addressed the War Council. "We've survived their retaliation, but they'll come back. The Empire doesn't forget, and they don't forgive." General Carter leaned forward. "Then we don't give them the chance. It's time to take the fight to them." For the first time in human history, Earth wasn't fighting for survival. They were fighting for revenge. A dangerous plan. Humanity's plan was bold, reckless, and unprecedented. Instead of waiting for the next wave of the Empire's forces, Earth would launch a surprise counterattack straight into the heart of the Galactic Empire itself. But this wasn't just about brute force. Humanity had a secret weapon. The data recovered from the wreckage of the Revenant, the Empire's flagship. Hidden within its systems were detailed schematics of the Empire's defenses, fleet formations, and most importantly, the location of the Imperial homeworld. "We hit them where it hurts," Captain Hale said, briefing his crew. "We take out their core systems, disrupt their communications, and strike at their leadership. They won't see it coming." But the mission was dangerous. The Empire's homeworld was heavily fortified, and the journey would take them through hostile territory. It was a suicide mission, and humanity was ready to pay the price. The journey begins. Earth's remaining fleet, led by the Eclipse, launched from the hidden bases across the solar system. Ships cloaked in stealth technology, designed using reverse-engineered alien tech, slipped silently into hyperspace. On board the Eclipse, tension ran high. The crew knew the risks, but they also knew what was at stake. "We're not just fighting for Earth," Lieutenant Sarah Blake whispered. "We're fighting for every human life they've ever threatened." As the fleet approached the Empire's borders, they encountered the first signs of resistance. Imperial patrol ships scanned the outer territories, but Earth's stealth technology kept them hidden, until an unexpected ambush. Ambushed at the border. As the fleet entered the fringes of Imperial space, alarms blared on the Eclipse. "We've got incoming," shouted Ensign Cole. Multiple bogies on intercept. A hidden Imperial outpost had detected their presence, and a squadron of warships descended on the human fleet. The element of surprise was gone. "All hands to battle stations," Captain Hale barked. Lasers and plasma fire lit up the void as Earth's fleet engaged the enemy. Despite being outnumbered, humanity fought with a ferocity the Empire hadn't expected. Their ships were smaller but faster, their tactics unpredictable. The Eclipse led the charge, weaving through enemy fire, its advanced weapon systems tearing through the Imperial ships. But the cost was high. Several human vessels were lost, their crews sacrificing themselves to protect the mission. After a brutal battle, the remaining human ships pressed forward, leaving the wreckage behind. The mission wasn't over. It was just beginning. Striking at the heart. Finally, after days of tense travel through enemy space, Earth's fleet arrived at their destination, the Imperial homeworld, Zetherian Prime. The planet loomed ahead, a massive world covered in sprawling cities and towering spires. The orbital defenses were formidable. Satellites armed with powerful cannons, fleets of ships patrolling the skies, and a massive planetary shield that pulsed with energy. "There's no way we're getting through that shield," Lieutenant Blake muttered. Captain Hale's eyes narrowed. "Then we take out the shield generator." Using the stolen data from the Revenant, the fleet identified a weakness in the planet's defenses, a hidden power station deep within an asteroid belt nearby. If they could destroy it, the shield would fall. The final assault. The Eclipse and a small strike team navigated the treacherous asteroid field, dodging Imperial patrols and automated defense turrets. The power station came into view, a massive structure embedded in the side of a colossal asteroid. "This is it," Captain Hale said. "One shot, one chance." As the fleet launched their assault, the Empire's forces scrambled to respond. Fighters swarmed from the station, and the battle erupted in the tight confines of the asteroid field. Earth's ships moved like shadows, slipping between rocks and blasting enemy fighters out of the sky. The Eclipse charged its singularity cannon, modified from the weapon that had destroyed the Revenant. "Fire!" Hale shouted. The cannon unleashed a devastating blast, tearing through the asteroid and obliterating the power station. The explosion sent shockwaves through space, and the Imperial homeworld's shield flickered, then collapsed. The Empire falls into chaos. With the shield down, Earth's fleet launched a full-scale assault on Zetherian Prime. They targeted military installations, communication hubs, and key government buildings. The Empire's forces scrambled to defend, but they were unprepared for the sheer audacity of the human attack. On the ground, resistance fighters, alien species long oppressed by the Empire, rose up, inspired by humanity's defiance. The Empire's once unbreakable hold on the galaxy began to crumble. In the heart of the chaos, the Eclipse led a final strike on the Imperial Palace itself, where the Emperor waited. Face to face with the Emperor, Captain Hale and a small team breached the palace, fighting their way through elite guards. The halls were lined with gold and marble, a stark contrast to the blood and destruction outside. Finally, they reached the throne room. The Emperor, tall and imposing, sat upon his throne, his eyes burning with hatred. "You dare defy the Galactic Empire," he hissed. Hale raised his weapon. "We're not here to defy you. We're here to end you." With a single shot, the Emperor fell. The room fell silent. The aftermath. The fall of the Emperor sent shockwaves across the galaxy. The once mighty Galactic Empire fractured, its territories rebelling against their former rulers. Humanity's name spread far and wide, not as a species to conquer, but as a force to be reckoned with. Back on Earth, the people mourned their losses but celebrated their victory. They had faced the greatest power in the galaxy and emerged victorious. But Captain Hale knew the fight wasn't over. "We've won this battle," he said quietly, staring into the stars. "But the galaxy will never be the same." The Galactic Empire had fallen, but the galaxy was far from at peace. Power vacuums formed in the wake of the Empire's collapse, and old rivalries flared as new factions scrambled for control. But amidst the chaos, one force began to rise: humanity. Earth, once seen as a backwater planet on the edge of the galaxy, was now a symbol of resistance and strength. But victory came with its own set of challenges. The weight of victory. Captain Marcus Hale stood aboard the Eclipse, watching the swirling chaos in space around Zetherian Prime. The Empire's homeworld, once a beacon of power and oppression, was now in flames. The people of the galaxy cheered humanity's triumph, but Hale knew the truth. "The war may be over," he muttered, "but the real battle is just beginning." Back on Earth, President Rodriguez addressed the United Earth Council. "The galaxy is in disarray. If we don't step in to lead, someone else will. And we've seen what happens when the wrong hands take control." Humanity had a choice: retreat back to Earth and risk the galaxy falling into worse chaos, or rise to lead a new era. They chose to lead. Allies and enemies. As Earth's fleet moved through the galaxy, liberating former Imperial territories, they found allies in the most unexpected places. Alien races that had suffered under the Empire's rule saw humanity as saviors. The Zalkiri, an insectoid species known for their hive-mind intelligence, pledged their fleets to Earth in gratitude for freeing their homeworld. The Vraxians, a reptilian warrior race, respected humanity's ferocity in battle and offered their military expertise. But not everyone welcomed Earth's rise. The Drakthul Syndicate, a powerful criminal organization, saw the chaos as an opportunity to seize control. The Halar Confederacy, a rival galactic power, viewed Earth as a threat to their influence. And in the shadows, remnants of the Galactic Empire plotted their revenge. The First Galactic Summit. To solidify their newfound alliances, Earth called for a Galactic Summit, the first of its kind. Representatives from dozens of liberated planets gathered on a massive space station orbiting Earth. Captain Hale stood alongside President Rodriguez as alien diplomats filled the Grand Hall. The Zalkiri Queen, the Vraxian warlord, and countless others took their seats, each with their own hopes and fears. "We are here not to conquer," Rodriguez began, "but to build. Together, we can create a galaxy where no empire, no tyrant, can ever rise again." But just as the summit seemed to be gaining momentum, disaster struck. The assassination attempt. A deafening explosion rocked the summit hall, sending diplomats scrambling for cover. Smoke filled the room, and chaos erupted as guards rushed to protect their leaders. Captain Hale and his team moved quickly, securing the president and scanning for threats. That's when they saw him, an assassin, cloaked in Imperial armor, raising a plasma rifle at President Rodriguez. "Not today," Hale growled, firing his weapon. The assassin fell, but not before revealing a chilling message burned into his armor: the Empire lives. The attack had failed, but its message was clear. The Empire's remnants were still out there, and they were ready to strike back. The hunt for the Imperial remnant. Earth couldn't afford to sit back and wait for another attack. Using intelligence gathered from the failed assassination, Captain Hale and his team launched a mission to hunt down the Imperial remnant, a faction of loyalists determined to restore the Empire. The trail led them deep into uncharted space, where rogue fleets gathered under a mysterious new leader known only as the Warlord. "Whoever this Warlord is," Lieutenant Blake whispered, "he's more dangerous than the Emperor ever was." But finding him wouldn't be easy. The remnants had scattered across the galaxy, hiding in abandoned Imperial strongholds and striking from the shadows. The betrayal. As Earth's fleet closed in on the Imperial remnant, a shocking betrayal threatened to unravel everything. One of Earth's closest allies, the Vraxians, turned against them, siding with the remnants in exchange for promises of power and territory. "We fought beside them," Hale said, his voice cold with disbelief. "And now they're stabbing us in the back." The betrayal shook the Galactic Alliance to its core. Trust between species wavered, and tensions threatened to tear the fragile coalition apart. But humanity didn't come this far to be undone by treachery. The final stand. Earth's fleet, though battered and outnumbered, prepared for one last stand against the Imperial remnant and their new Vraxian allies. The battle would take place on the edge of the galaxy, where the Empire's influence had always been strongest. Captain Hale addressed his crew aboard the Eclipse, his voice steady and resolute. "They think they can scare us into submission. They think we'll back down, but they've forgotten one thing." He paused, letting the silence hang in the air. "We're human, and we don't break." The fleet surged forward, ready to face whatever came next. The battle for the galaxy's future had begun. The galaxy was on the edge of oblivion. The final battle was upon them. Humanity's fleet, once a symbol of the underdog, was now the galaxy's last hope against the return of a dark empire. As Earth's forces rallied for the ultimate confrontation, the stakes had never been higher. The gathering storm. The galaxy had already seen many wars, but none like this. Captain Hale and President Rodriguez knew that the outcome of this battle would decide the fate of countless worlds. The Warlord, leader of the Imperial remnant, had assembled a terrifying armada. In a final desperate push to restore the Empire's reign, he had allied with the Vraxians and other rogue factions. From the bridge of the Eclipse, Hale watched the massive fleet assemble on the view screen. It was a sight that would have terrified anyone else, but not him. "We've been here before," Hale muttered, "and we've won before. This time will be no different." But the weight of the moment was impossible to ignore. He knew that if they failed, it wouldn't just be Earth that suffered. It would be every free planet that had dared to hope. The hidden weapon. President Rodriguez had spent weeks preparing for the worst. Humanity's fleet, though powerful, was outnumbered. But there was a secret weapon hidden in the deepest reaches of space, a relic of the ancient warships that had once defended Earth in the distant past. "It's time," Rodriguez said to Hale. "Activate the Eclipse's secret weapon." As Hale gave the order, the entire crew felt the ship rumble. On the surface, the Eclipse looked like any other warship, but beneath its sleek exterior lay a weapon unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Titan core. It was a massive energy cannon, capable of erasing entire fleets in a single strike. "This is it," Hale said, preparing his crew for the coming storm. "We either win this today, or we lose everything." The battle begins. As both sides gathered in the outer rim of the galaxy, the sky was filled with ships of all sizes and shapes. The space between them crackled with energy as the two massive fleets stared each other down. The time for diplomacy had passed. The time for war had arrived. Without warning, the first shots were fired. The galaxy's battle for survival had begun. Earth's fleet, though smaller, fought with unmatched ferocity. The battle raged for hours, with both sides sustaining heavy losses. Captain Hale barked orders, his voice cold and precise as the Eclipse cut through enemy lines with pinpoint accuracy. "We can do this," Hale muttered, focused on the battlefield. But even as Earth's forces gained ground, the Imperial Remnant's secret weapon emerged. The Obsidian Titan, a massive warship capable of obliterating anything in its path. The ship's hull was reinforced with technology scavenged from across the galaxy, making it nearly invincible. The moment of truth. As the Obsidian Titan charged into the fray, its weapons unleashed chaos upon Earth's fleet. Ships were torn apart, and for a moment, it seemed like all hope was lost. "We have to stop it," Lieutenant Blake shouted, her eyes locked on the enemy ship. "If we don't destroy the Titan, we'll lose everything." Hale knew that this was the pivotal moment. The battle was being decided by the Obsidian Titan. It was Earth's last chance to turn the tide. "Prepare the Titan core," Hale ordered, his voice steady, despite the chaos around him. "We have one shot." The final strike. The Titan core charged up, its energy levels rising to critical levels. Every eye on the bridge was focused on the target. The Obsidian Titan. The warlord had no idea what was coming. "Fire," Hale commanded. A blinding beam of energy shot from the Eclipse, hitting the Obsidian Titan dead center. For a moment, there was silence in space. Then the Obsidian Titan exploded in a brilliant flash of light, sending shockwaves rippling through the battlefield. Victory. The explosion marked the turning point in the battle. With their flagship destroyed, the Imperial Remnant began to crumble. Their forces, disoriented and demoralized, began retreating. The Vraxians, seeing their once-allied faction faltering, abandoned their alliance with the Remnants and joined humanity's side. "We did it," Lieutenant Blake said, her voice trembling with relief. "It's over." But Captain Hale knew the war wasn't truly over. There were still remnants of the Empire scattered across the galaxy. It would take time to rebuild, to ensure that the darkness of tyranny would never return. A new dawn. In the aftermath of the battle, humanity stood as the unifying force in the galaxy. Earth's fleet, once seen as a mere shadow of the ancient powers, had proven itself as the galaxy's protector. "This is just the beginning," President Rodriguez said, standing before the newly formed Galactic Alliance. "We've shown them that humanity is not to be underestimated. Now we'll lead this galaxy into a new era." The path ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear: humanity would never back down. The galaxy was theirs to protect, and they would never let anyone forget what had happened on the galactic frontier. The last strike had been made, and Earth had risen to the challenge. the galaxy would never be the same.